French toast, really? We're gonna make it ourselves. Thick. You need sliced bread.
I prefer to bake my own, but you can use this stuff, whatever.
6 eggs.
1 tablespoon brown sugar. 1 teaspoon of cinnamon.
1 teaspoon vanilla extract. Wait, no. Whiskey business. Once whisked together, 1 cup of milk.
Half a cup cream.
Sometimes you just gotta whisk it all, you know? Baking dish. 6 slices of bread. Pour your mixture over. All of it. Nestle those bad boys in there.
Soak for 5 minutes.
Flip them bad boys.
Soak another 5 minutes. Pan. 2 tablespoons of butter. Medium heat.
Pan's hot, butter's bubbling, you're ready.
Soak bread in pan. Toast 2 to 3 minutes or until golden brown.
Flip.
Toast 2 to 3 more minutes.
Repeat with the rest. Hit it with that drip.
We don't just do toast, man.
We do that French toast.
Butter in a pan, leftover rice, put it in, grab more, break it up into small pieces. Everything's broken up now. Onion powder, garlic powder, black pepper, just a little bit. Mix that now. Time for soy sauce. Not too much. Stir that in. And mix. Then I just transfer this to a bowl. Fry up some bacon. And you're done.
Hi, are you unable to feed yourself? Don't worry, I got you. Get yourself some potatoes. 1, 2, 3. Whoa, look at that. They're washed. Wow, amazing. Time to do some light chopping. This is how I did mine. Now I gotta get the nasties off of it. Skip a few, now it's chopped. Just kidding. It's a cube, now what? Do a couple good vertical slices. Flip it. Don't know what happened, but then do this. And do it again. Do that times a billion and be safe with your knife. Don't do an ow. I'm stupid, I cut my finger when reaching for a knife earlier. Get a pan, make it hot. How hot's that pan? Sizzle. Hell yeah. Get a lid. Put some oil in there. Fucking yeet. Season it however you want. I like spicy shit. Let's go. Bam, that's paprika, cayenne, and chili powder. Boom. Lid's on it now. You can pick it up and use the lid to help mash it around. If you want to check on them, open it this way. I just accidentally dumped out most of our warm spices. Fuck. Master Chef. Fork, potato, not squishy, not ready. And we're done.
Love came in on time, so loving is easy. You have me fucked up. It used to be so hard to see.
Welcome to Wonderland, we've got it all. Potions and pastries that make you grow tall. Forests and cottages, castles and carts.
If I back it up, is it fat enough? When I throw it back, is it fast enough? If I speed it up, think you handle that? You ain't ready for this work, now watch me throw it back, throw it back, throw it back, throw it back, throw it back. My ass too fat, too fat,
I like how she
rock, 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 rock,
how she
rock, 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 rock.
I like how she rock, 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 rock.
2.5 bananas, mashed with this. 2 scoops vanilla whey powder. Shake it well. Add it to the banana mixture. 2 cups of oats. Grind it. Add it to the mixture. Mix it well. Add some cinnamon. PC, pure vanilla extract. 3 eggs, then mix well. Approximate consistency you're looking for. Some coconut oil or some cooking spray. Ladle them in. Done. Took about 20 minutes for every.
Good morning. I just got up. I already put my bathing suit on because it's already hot outside. But I'm going to make a smoothie real quick for breakfast, shall we? Yeah. I'm actually making it for the whole family, so I'm going to use 2 or maybe 3 bananas because that's my business. Yes, very good. Gonna add some mango berry. That's mangoes and berries. Also using some hemp protein. This is vanilla flavor. Add a little probiotics in here. Blueberry yogurt. And a little vanilla almond milk. I forgot a little peach cobbler season, and that's just cinnamon and nutmeg. Then we're gonna blend it up. Like so, like that. Then pour it in your glass. Add a bamboo straw. Grab your sunglasses. Honey, the most important part, honey, go sit outside, act like you somewhere at a hotel or something. Oh, hey, yeah, we just checked in this morning. Pay no attention to the cars in the background. It's the backyard. But act like you somewhere.
Last time I shared this recipe, Kylie Jenner liked it. Let's make perfect roast potatoes with a little bit of food science. I prefer Yukon Gold or red-skinned potatoes. Cut them up and put them in a pot of cold water with what looks like an obscene amount of salt. You're not actually gonna eat all that salt, but you're creating a diffusion gradient which will season the potatoes from the inside out. Boil them for about 10 or 15 minutes until they're tender. Then drain them and rough them up with a spoon. This increases the surface area to volume ratio, giving you more places to get crispy. Dump them out on a baking tray and drizzle with olive oil, Old Bay, garlic powder, paprika, black pepper, and some fresh rosemary. Finally, some Maldon salt. Roast at 450 Fahrenheit. When they look like this, turn off the oven, but let them sit in the hot oven for about 10 minutes. Finish with parsley or dill and you have absolute perfection. Just immaculate with a steak.
Okay, I wasn't sure about this marinade, but after testing it out, I can confirm it's delicious. I started by taking some Korean gochujang red pepper paste and adding that to my chicken breast. Exact measurements are always on my Instagram at Nutrient Matters. I'm adding some honey, garlic powder, salt and pepper, and some rice vinegar. Then I massage that into my chicken really well and add some more garlic powder. To cook the chicken, make sure your pan is hot, add your oil, then make sure your oil is hot, then add your chicken. Immediately cover with a lid and cook for 2 minutes to get a crust. Flip it over and cook for another 2 minutes to get a nice crust, then cover and cook on low for 10 minutes. Make sure you don't peek so that the hot steam cooks the chicken thoroughly. Let your chicken rest for about 10 minutes and then slice it. This just makes sure that the juices are preserved so you get juicy chicken breast every time. I prep my sweet potato by stabbing it violently a couple times until I get holes all over, and then I bake it for 45 minutes, turning it every 15 minutes. And you'll get perfectly caramelized sweet potato every time. I served this with steamed broccoli and it was delicious. This meal also stores really well in the fridge for meal prep.
I almost don't want to put you onto this, but I will because this carrot cake recipe is actually incredible. To a large bowl, add 4 eggs, 1 cup of brown sugar, a half cup of applesauce, 3/4 of a cup of olive oil, 1 cup of white sugar, and a generous splash of vanilla, and whisk that until combined. Then add 2 cups of all-purpose flour, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, 2 teaspoons of baking soda, a pinch of kosher salt, and 1 tablespoon of ground cinnamon, and mix that until just combined. Then add 2 to 3 cups of grated carrots and fold. Then you want to divide the batter between 2 parchment-lined 9-inch cake tins and bake them at 350 for around 35 minutes. Let them cool on a wire rack and make your cream cheese frosting. In the meantime, I'll post the recipe for mine soon. After the layers have cooled down, spread about a third of the frosting between the two cakes and spread the rest over the top and sides. So yeah, that's it. The full recipe is up on my Instagram. I hope you try it and let me know what you think.
Hey everyone, so today we're making some Korean cheesy potato pancakes. They're so delicious and super simple to make. So we're gonna start off by peeling our potatoes and cutting them into pieces. Then we're gonna boil them until they're nice and soft and mash them up and season with some salt, pepper, garlic, a little bit of sugar, and also for however many potatoes we use, we add the same amount of cornstarch. So we're gonna add about 3 spoonfuls and mix everything together, and once it's all combined, we're gonna roll the dough into a ball and flatten it, then add some cheese to the middle. You can use whatever kind you like. I use mozzarella, and once the cheese is enclosed, we're going to flatten it into a little patty, and then once they're all formed, we're going to heat up some oil in a non-stick pan and cook until the bottom is golden brown. Flip them over, and then they're pretty much done. And look at this glorious cheese pull. These are seriously so good and easy to make too.
Here's another chocolate recipe for when you're on your period. Today, we're making Claire Saffit's chocolate buttermilk cake from Dessert Person Part 7 of 105. Start by combining your dry ingredients, then melt the chocolate, coffee, and cocoa powder over a double boiler. Take it off the heat and stir in buttermilk and vanilla. It should start to look like chocolate pudding now. Cream your butter, sugar, and oil, then add 1 egg at a time until fully combined. Now you're going to alternate between adding the dry ingredients and the chocolate mixture, with 3 additions of the dry ingredients and 2 additions of the wet. I could honestly just eat the chocolate batter like this, but we said we're gonna make a cake, so let's make a cake. Level out the batter until flat, and yes, I'm using a toaster oven to make this 3-layer cake. Cut off the tops for a snack later, and then we're gonna start to assemble. Make sure your cake is fully cooled before doing any frosting, because otherwise your frosting is just gonna melt. I'll show you how to make this super silky chocolate French buttercream in another video, but for now, enjoy.
I brought back parsnips. I'm going to make hazelnut soup for dinner.
I'm gonna make that soup. All right, get a butternut squash and some parsnips and cut them into small pieces. Add them to a pot with butter, garlic, and onions and let it cook. While it's cooking, get some hazelnuts and add that to a food processor with 2 cups of water. Use a cheesecloth to strain the hazelnut liquid, then add it back to the pot that was cooking. Let it cook for about 10 minutes, then add it back to a blender and blend. Everything should be nice and smooth, so add it back to your pot, then season it. Add your seasonings and then about 1/3 cup of heavy whipping cream, which is optional. Oh yeah, nice and thick. And then I garnished with some parsley and hazelnuts. It was beautiful and tasted divine. Yeah.
Hello. I got dumped today, so we're gonna make my favorite comfort food, kimchi grilled cheese. Butter. Bread. Gochujang mayo. Gouda, because my favorite's Gouda. Korean pear. Just more cheese. Again, with my homemade kimchi. This is where I got dumped. I don't know. I did slather the other side. Let me just stick that on there. I set the sandwich aside so I could rebutter the pan, and this happened. Just press it down until the cheese is all gooey. Anyway, there she is. She smells really good.
Hey everyone, so today we're making kimchi. If you haven't guessed already, I love Korean food and kimchi is like the foundation of it all. So we're gonna start off by cutting the Napa cabbage in half, then in quarters, and cut some bite-sized pieces since this is mak kimchi, which literally means easy. But once all of it's chopped up, we're gonna sprinkle about 1 cup of kosher salt to all the cabbage, layer by layer, and I did it in the sink because I don't have a big enough container. But after that, splash some water over the top, and we're gonna let that release the liquid for like 5 hours. I know it's a long time, but meanwhile, we can prepare everything else. So for the paste, we're gonna add water, dried fish, kombu, and a dried shiitake mushroom to a pot, bring to a boil and let simmer. Then remove all the solids and whisk in some rice flour, and once it's thickened, remove and let cool. Then for the vegetables, we're gonna cut a Korean radish in matchsticks, and I just use my mandolin to make it easier, but also chop up a bunch of green onion, Korean chives, then peel the skins off a whole head of garlic, slice some ginger, and we're also gonna add an apple to kind of balance out all the flavors. But next, in a large bowl, add the paste, some fish sauce, rice, salted shrimp, sugar, all the other ingredients, and blend everything up. Then add in some Korean chili flakes or gochugaru, and the amount you want is up to how spicy you like it. I started off with like 2 cups and adjusted from there, but then pop the gloves on because we're gonna get our hands in there and mix in all the vegetables. And once the cabbage is all salted down, we're gonna rinse it thoroughly at least 3 times, and finally add all of it to the mixture and incorporate everything together. And it's so satisfying to do this. I ended up mixing an excessive amount of time, but the last thing to do is just store it in some containers. I used some jars, and I just realized how much I actually had. But you can leave these to ferment for up to 4 days at room temperature depending on how sour you like it. I tried it after 1 day because I'm impatient, but it's just so good. It has the right amount of spiciness and that perfect umami flavor, and it's honestly way better than store-bought.
Let's make delicious chicken and dumplings using my new cast iron skillet from Coach System CS. First, I'm going to start by searing both sides of my chicken. This pan is perfect for searing, roasting, and of course soups and stews. While my chicken is cooking, I'm going to go ahead and chop up my vegetables, which is 1 onion, carrot, and some celery. Once the chicken is more than halfway cooked, I'm going to go ahead and remove it from the heat and toss in my vegetables. Make sure to keep all of the brown bits that accumulate at the bottom of the pan because all of that is going to be really good flavor for your broth. After a few minutes of sauteing, I go ahead and add my chicken back in with some water and a few bay leaves. You can definitely add in store-bought chicken broth and shredded chicken to save you some time. And for the dumplings part of this chicken and dumplings recipe, I'm going to go ahead and start making the dough, which is pretty simple, just milk, butter, some seasonings, and flour. And once everything is well combined, it's pretty much ready to go. No need to let it set and rest. After 30 minutes of cooking, my chicken is ready to be pulled out and shredded. To make this dish a little bit creamy, I go ahead and add in about a half cup of milk, and then when it's boiling, I drop in my dollops of dough, then the chicken, and then I like to add about a half cup of frozen peas. Let everything simmer for about another 10 minutes, and then it's ready to be served. Finishing off with some fresh parsley, and that's it, the ultimate comfort food.
If you don't know what Indo-Chinese food is, let me introduce you to your new favorite cuisine. Created and perfected by Chinese Indians, it basically marries the seasonings found in Chinese cooking with the aromatics common in Indian cooking. And also ketchup. I don't know where that one came from, but it works. Gobi Manchurian is one of my favorites, and it's just cauliflower in a tangy, sweet, and spicy sauce. And all you do is air fry your cauliflower in the oven, and for the sauce, you add onions, green chilies, garlic, ginger, bell pepper, let it cook for a bit, and then add soy sauce, sambal, rice vinegar, ketchup, and cornstarch. Then add in your cauliflower, gently coat it together, and that's it.
When I find a food that doesn't hurt my stomach but actually tastes good, I will make it every second day, and this leek soup has become that for me. It's creamy, it almost tastes like clam chowder, but it's dairy free, and I believe it's vegan. I start by cutting up an onion. I add that into a pot with a couple spoonfuls of olive oil, and then I'm cubing some celery, adding in a few cloves of minced garlic, and some potatoes, some carrots. And then you're gonna cut up your leeks. I cut up my leeks a little bit bigger because they wilt down a lot and I still like to taste them, but also make sure you rinse these in a bowl of water because they're gonna have a bunch of sand growing in between their little leaves for some reason. And then I also add in about half a head of asparagus. It just adds a really nice flavor to creamy soups. And leek soup is French, so there's hardly any seasoning. You add in a spoonful of salt, some cracked black pepper, and I just add in some garlic powder, then 2 cups of water, 2 cups of oat milk, a little bit of vegetarian bouillon paste, a couple bay leaves, and some I add in soy sauce because it's really good. And then if you want it thicker, you can mix a little bit of flour and water, add that in, and just cook it up until done. I'm always trying to find pasta alternatives that don't taste like chalk boiled in water because so many gluten-free pastas are awful, but I just get so bloated on the regular kind. But I found out these enoki mushrooms literally taste like chow mein noodles if you cook them right. All you have to do is cut off the stems, and then I'm just putting them in a non-stick pan. I use someone from our place because it's really good, with sesame oil and soy sauce. That's all I use. And just so you know, these do not taste like mushrooms. Like, there's no mushroom flavor or like that like meaty flavor in them at all. But I would eat this every day.
It's warm and sunny in California, so it's the perfect time to start making paletas with your kids. I'm starting with a water-based one, and you guys voted for mango with chamoy, so here's how I made it. Combine sugar and mango nectar or water, bring to a boil, stirring until it thickens, and then let it cool. Using a very ripe mango, reserve some small chunks, then blend the rest with the sugar syrup and lime juice until it's really smooth. You should have about 3 cups of puree. Make sure your popsicle molds have been properly sanitized, then start by filling the bottom with some chamoy, then tajin, then the mango chunks, then the mango puree about halfway, and repeat these steps again. You can alternate and add as much or as little as you want. I think a 3-to-1 ratio of mango to chamoy is best for most people, but I like a little more chamoy and tajin for mine. I didn't add that much to this batch because these are for the kids in my neighborhood. Somebody called me Monica from Friends, but instead of the candy lady, I guess I'm the paleta lady, and I'm okay with that. Anyway, you can mix the filling a bit for a swirly look if you want, then add the popsicle sticks about 3/4 of the way through and freeze it overnight. Then place the mold in warm water for 30 seconds to loosen the paletas so they can slide right out.
Y'all, tonight for dinner we had my favorite soup, which is chicken pot pie soup. It is so good. So first I put in 2 chicken breasts and I season them before I put the water in to boil them. I don't know if this actually does anything, but in my mind it makes the chicken actually have seasoning while you're boiling it. I don't know, because you see it like washes right off, so I don't know if it actually does much, but whatever. I let it season or boil, not season. I let it boil for 30 to 40 minutes and then I go ahead and I shred it up. Shredding up chicken is so annoying. It takes so long. Then I use that same pot. I put in a whole thing of chicken broth and then I do a whole can of cream of chicken, and then I also put some water in that and then throw that in there as well. You're going to do 1/2 cup of milk, and then you're just going to go ahead and whisk this up until everything is nice and incorporated. You don't want any lumps. I'm talking so fast. Then I take some frozen mixed vegetables. You can use fresh if you want. I just prefer the frozen because it's super easy and they're really cheap, like $1 a bag. I throw in that chicken and I make sure that's nice and good in there. Then I'm going to take some biscuits. I usually use just like normal flavored flaky biscuits, but we only had honey butter, so I used the honey butter ones and it worked just the same, honestly. Then you're going to season with some garlic powder, some Tony's. I also added in some dill wheat. Usually I'll do like celery seed, but I didn't have any today, so I just used the dill. And then you're going to do some onion powder, some thyme, salt, and pepper. Your seasonings are so important in this recipe. It's literally just going to taste like water if you don't use your seasonings. You're going to make sure that's good and mixed up in there. You want the dough to be nice and submerged because the way that the biscuits are going to cook, it's going to be like a dumpling of a sort, and it's really good, y'all. I cooked that for 45 minutes on like a medium high, and it's all done. Look at that. This is one of my favorite soups, especially because I don't really know how to make chicken pot pie that well, so this is the best. Bye guys, don't forget to nourish your bodies, eat your dinner. I love you.
Apple crumble kind of reminds me of school. I was not that good at school. I studied really hard and was pretty well behaved, but my grades were somehow so average. I'd like to attribute it to the idea that there are different ways of being smart. You know, book smart, street smart. I read an article where a Harvard psychologist said that humans have 8 types of intelligence: logical, mathematical, linguistic, and 6 others. This is me trying to justify my subpar grades, by the way. Anyway, one of the only classes I looked forward to was food technology, because it wasn't graded, and, well, food. This is one of the first things we learned to make, because it's that easy. So, I never got straight A's, but I can make a mean apple crumble.
I work as a full-time restaurant critic, and I'm also a native New Yorker, so I get this question a lot. If you're visiting New York City, here are some places I think you should check out. For a nice sit-down dinner in the Times Square area, I love Gallagher's. This is my favorite steakhouse. It's also one of the city's oldest, and the atmosphere is very classic New York. They also make a great New York-style cheesecake. For French food, I love La Mercerie in Soho. It is a beautiful space whether you sit indoors or outdoors. I really love breakfast here, and the buckwheat crepe complete is so good, but lunch and dinner are awesome too, and they make one of my favorite chocolate chip cookies. Now for pizza, I am going to send you to Brooklyn, but Williamsburg, so not too far out if you're unfamiliar with the subway system. The burrata pie at Linda Street is out of this world. The line never gets too crazy, and whatever soft serve they have, just get it because it's going to be amazing. Especially if it's your first time in New York, you should take time to go to the Met because it's an incredible museum. And one of my favorite restaurants is just around the corner. Cafe Sabarsky is a Viennese cafe inside of the Neue Gallery, another great place to see art, and I have never had a bad meal here. The food is very consistent, it's a very pretty restaurant, kind of a cozy but elegant atmosphere, and the desserts are perfection. For Red Sauce Italian, instead of sending you to an overhyped West Village spot, I'm going to recommend Supper. I think it's a nice middle ground. The food is very simple, straightforward, well done, and it's just a really good time when you have dinner here. If you want something that's like a harder reservation to score, I think Tatiana is worth the hassle. It's in Lincoln Center, and it's run by a celebrity chef who makes all of these fun riffs on food that he grew up eating in the Bronx. So things like these curry goat patties, which honestly I dream about. And there's a really fun dessert called the Bodega Special that's a fancy cosmic brownie with powdered donut ice cream.
If you want a pastry that you've seen on Instagram, I recommend the cardamom buns at La Cabra. Yes, they are worth the hype, and the coffee here is really perfect. We can't talk about New York food without talking about pork buns, and my favorite ones come from Golden Steamer. They have locations in both Manhattan and Brooklyn.
Okay, I'm making cowboy caviar, and I'm kind of in a time crunch because I'm going to visit my sister Carly, and I gotta get on the road because it's gonna storm, and I want to beat the storm. But I refuse to show up without a container of cowboy caviar. So that was an orange bell pepper, a red bell pepper, a green bell pepper, and a red onion, and a jalapeno. And this is chickpeas, 1 can of chickpeas rinsed and drained, and then black beans. I'm adding some cilantro because Carly requested cilantro, and this is Carly's cowboy caviar, even though this is killing me. Okay, I got the hot and sweet jalapenos from Trader Joe's because I ran out of Jimbo's jalapenos, and they're good. They're good. They definitely are no Jimbo jalapenos, but right in the bowl. I might add more of those. We'll see. We'll see. Okay, some black olives. I've never made cowboy caviar this fast in my life. I'm getting after it today. Whole container of feta, because so many people don't know how to cut a mango, and that has come to my attention recently. So there's a pit in the middle. You're gonna cut down the side, along the pit, down the other side. See how you can kind of see it in there? It's hard right here. And then down the other side, lengthwise like this, and then right down this way. Boom, mango. Super easy. Some sweet corn from the farmer's market. It's kind of frozen still, but I like that because it'll make everything cold. All right, now the dressing. I'll put the recipe at the end for the dressing. Look at the surface area of this chip. All right, let's give it, oh, it's not very dippable though. It cracked on me. Okay, so I've got some pineapple cubed up, and I'm gonna add it to a single chip just to see how it would taste before I add it to the whole thing. Pineapple's going in. Fuck it.
Let's make one of my favorite weeknight dinners, high in protein, lots of veggies, and it takes less than 20 minutes to prepare. We're doing fried rice tonight, so that means we need to start with a hot pan. If you want to spray your pan with oil, I usually skip that step. Take your protein, cook it on high heat, crumble it up as you cook it. I'm using ground pork. You know the drill. You want to cook the meat until it's no longer pink, and in the last like 1 to 2 minutes before it's done cooking, you're gonna add your green onion, some minced or finely chopped garlic. Then you want to remove the meat and the onions and garlic from the pan. If there's a lot of oil left in the pan, drain most of it, leave like a little bit, a tablespoon or two, and then you're gonna add your frozen veggies. That is what you're looking for. You're gonna add the star ingredient, which is bagged coleslaw. Add the coleslaw right on top, move things around a little bit, and then you're gonna put a lid on this and let it sit. Okay, after about 3 minutes, we're gonna take the lid off. You're gonna see that things are starting to cook down, but not completely. Give things a stir and then put the lid back on for another 2 to 3 minutes. You can see your cabbage is starting to get kind of tender and a little bit translucent. That's when we're gonna start adding stuff in. Back goes the pork mixture that we cooked up. Pre-cooked and cooled white rice, soy sauce, sesame oil, and sriracha. Definitely leave this out or add more depending on what kind of spice level you like. Now you're gonna need to mix things very, very well. I like to kind of press things down and then cover it with a lid to give the rice and everything an opportunity to get a little crisp. Add some green onions, sesame seeds, whatever toppings you love, and serve.
If you got leftover vegetables in the fridge, try making my super easy and crispy vegetable balls. You can use any vegetables of your choice. I'm using carrots, zucchini, and potatoes. To make it extra crispy, we're gonna squeeze out all the excess water, salt and pepper, garlic powder, cornstarch, and egg. Mix together and form into little balls. Fry for 8 to 9 minutes or until crispy and golden brown. Now look at that.
This is Punyane Paprike, and this is episode 10 of Heritage Recipes, a series where I will be sharing our favourite recipes from our childhood. This recipe comes courtesy of Anna, who asked if I could share this with you. She said, I'm Croatian and I spent my childhood in a beautiful mountain region called Lika. I lived with my grandparents who, after getting their pension, started a small farm. We had goats, rabbits, chickens, as well as a vegetable garden. In the mornings, my dida, meaning grandpa, would make us all breakfast, then we would go and give the baby goats their bottles and feed the rabbits freshly chopped grass. Later, I would join my baka, meaning grandma, in the garden to help her pick fruit and veggies for lunch. She would seek out the yellow peppers called babula, and it was my job to remove the stem by carving the top of the peppers and taking out all of the seeds. Every summer, without a doubt, the whole house would smell of her filled peppers. This dish brings back so many memories of my grandparents, which I cherish more than ever now that I have left Croatia and moved to Ireland.